So, this one's gonna be the, I think, last episode of Different by Youngme Moon, which is a book around basically business, but it is also somehow, at least I feel that, and I don't actually know if this is like the intention of the author, but I kind of actually also think so. But I would also say that some of these concepts, some of these ideas are relatively like applicable to just quote unquote normal life as well, which is quite amazing because then it is like applicable to way more people than just only these that are having their own business, that are in business, that are having something to do with executives and whatnot. But yeah, there's going to be more after the intro as always. As quite always. And I really am looking forward to recording this episode, like really, 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 like not normally really, but really, 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 you know, I really, I really do. But yeah, before we go through the episode, there's a few things that I'm willing to cover very, 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 very quickly. The first thing is, this is a podcast, you know, and it is also a YouTube show, or, well, it is a podcast and show basically. So if you do want to just have the podcast, then please check out the links in the description. But if you're already on the podcast and you feel like, well, I would actually like to see this dude, then please also check out the first or the second link in the description. The second thing is the notes. I've actually today updated the notes, which are PDFs of everything that I went through, like everything like articles and book summary articles, or these things that I've just had a look at. I'm just highlighting certain things, and these things and these highlights are then going to be in this PDF, and you can download this for free and use it and print it and do whatever with it. And it is down in the description. It is a Google Drives folder, and you can download it and you can do whatever with it. The last thing is music. If you do want to have some music in the background, because some people want to have that and some people really like that, then please check out the third link, I guess, fourth section. No, it is the fourth link and third section. All right, so let's actually get ahead with, or let's go ahead after I've given you the screen, actually, I'm sorry. Let's get ahead with this, maybe even just amazing, if it turns out to be amazing. I've actually had a look at it, and I wasn't able to understand everything, which is quite a pity, you know, because it's not that of a good thing then, because I do want to present it, and it is not something that nice then. Well, anyway, a funny thing happens the minute you begin to capture comparative differences on paper. There is a natural inclination for folks in the comparative set to focus on eliminating those differences rather than accentuating them, which means, I'm actually going to look it up because I don't know, focus attention on, call, draw attention to, so bring, call, draw attention to, point up, underline, or underscore. A funny thing, because I do want to repeat it actually, a funny thing happens the minute you begin to capture comparative differences on paper. What do they mean by comparative? No, please don't. Thank you. Let's see. Relative, qualified, modified. Okay, differences on paper. There's a natural inclination for folks in the comparative set to focus on eliminating those differences. Yes, it is something that we often can see. We often try to basically eliminate our difference between us and maybe even other people, which is not necessarily something that good, you know, because these things that make us different, you know, these differences that we are having, they are not necessarily bad, you know, because it also can be something good if you're just somebody different, you know. You might be somebody different, but it might be a good difference, you know, a good difference to someone else or to some other product, to another company, to another thing. You know, it really doesn't have to be something negative. It can also be actually something that's very valuable, and also sometimes you need this, you know, because not everyone is just, I don't know, not everyone wants to have an Apple phone or an iPhone if you want to. Not everyone wants to have this and that, you know, and if there's no company that is just different than the other company, then, well, you're fucked up, basically, you know, because you have to just then buy something that you maybe are not really kind of appreciating, maybe, and whatnot. So differences are not necessarily something bad. My guess is that you would feel pressure to address the vulnerabilities in your brand. Meanwhile, it might not be even occur to you to do the opposite, to double down on your strengths, further extending the distance between you and your competitors, which is indeed something that's quite often the case. But not only if you're just thinking about branding and having a company and all those things, but definitely also if you just think about yourself, you know, because we do indeed often think about our weaknesses and our flaws, and that we actually have to work on them and we have to kind of balance them out and shit like this. But we all have differences, and I mean, we all have flaws, and we all have just some strengths and also weaknesses. But does it then really care if you really think about your weaknesses? And isn't it just better to actually quadruple down on your strengths so that you're actually then going to be able to be the best in this field, which is always something amazing, which is always something good, and always something worthwhile going for. Because if you're the best, then people are going to come to you. But if it is just something that you're already not good at, you're probably never going to be the best at it. You're probably never going to be like the optimal thing. Never ever. Because you're already bad at it. You're not born to be good at this thing, maybe. Maybe it is just because of some other factors, some other things that might be just kind of altering this process or whatever. But if you're already good at it, then there's definitely the chance that you're going to be the best at it. So I don't know. I think the later one is just better to try out. The truth of the matter is true differentiation, which is sustainable differentiation, is rarely a function of well-roundedness. It is typically a function of lopsidedness, which is with one side lower or smaller than the other. The more I know. The same can be said for excellence. If you were to meet a brain surgeon who also claimed to be a pediatric orthopedist, who also claimed to be a specialist in Botox treatments, you would likely view all of his credentials with skepticism. Like, why? Why is he all of this? Because intuitively, you understand that excellence on any extreme almost always involves a trade-off. Yes, it really does. And I think we also see that, like in us as human beings, you might be good at this, but on the other hand, you might just be really bad at the other thing. And then it is like, well, how can this be? You're not going to be the best at everything. It's just not possible because we are not just good at everything. We have natural strengths and we have talents and all those things. And I think it's, as I said before, I think it just makes sense to work on the things we're already good at. My writing is just so shit. I can't spell for shit. I can't do this. And a lot of people are coming up to me and be like, well, we have to work on that, and also teachers, or one particular teacher. And I just, in the beginning, thought like, well, yes, it does make sense, because spelling is important and whatnot. But on the other hand, what if I work on that? Might there be a trade-off just to the opposite? In terms of like, maybe I'm just not caring about my spelling because it makes me more creative. But what if I really care about my spelling? Does this make me then just less creative because I'm working on this? This is just really something that I thought about. And, well, I don't know if I should actually change it. I don't know if I'm going to be a copywriter, and I don't think so because I know that my spelling is shit. Or I'm probably then going to have something that is going to spell check my stuff, whether it is actually a person or some algorithm or something else. There's going to be something, I'm not going to be, I'm just not going to be a copywriter. Maybe I'm going to be an author because apparently you're not going to spell check your own shit, because there are some people that can do this for you, and then it is fine, I guess. Yes, it is strange when you're able to do everything. Negative trade-offs are not only a marker of excellence, they are a marker of differentiation. This is as true for products and brands as it is for brain surgeons. Well, yeah. He began by programming each artificial bird to abide, I think it's a bit, by 3 simple rules. The first one is avoid crowding or colliding into nearby birds. The second thing is keep up with nearby birds by flying at roughly the same height and speed, or heading, the same heading. Yes, it's heading. And the third one is drift in the direction of the average position of nearby birds. What I've been seeing there, since they are not really talking about it afterwards again, what I'm really seeing there is averageness. This is a way to make every bird be the average of every other bird, quite. Every bird is going to do the same. Every bird is going to be the same. And every bird is going to just basically look at the other birds and do the exact same shit. And this is something that I don't quite like, because we are all different. And even though we're all different, we do just want to use and wear the same clothes, which is something that's quite interesting. Like, we all want to be different and we all want to be special and we all want to be something. But in the end, we're just always wearing the exact same shit as all the other people are doing. But I mean, I understand, because people like us do things like this. People like us that might be interested in sports, might be interested in sports and nutrition and building muscle, they're doing things like working out. They're doing things like consuming protein shakes. They're doing things like whatever, because people like us do things like this by Seth Godin. That is an amazing thing. I really appreciate that. And yesterday, just a little story there. Yesterday, I actually wanted to write an email to Seth Godin just to say thank you, because I really do want to thank this person, and I do think, and I do also know that he's reading his emails. On the flip side, I mean, the problem was that I wasn't able to find the email address, and I've looked for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, because the problem was I actually wanted to go to bed, but then I thought about it, and I've always been like, well, I'm gonna do this later. It's not that of an important thing, and it might take me some time, so I'm gonna do it later. And then I thought, well, let's do it. I'm just going to look for it. Maybe I'm actually going to be able to find it relatively quickly, and then it is something fine for me. But I wasn't. I found something, but I'm not quite sure if this is his real email, and I also do not really want to try out if this is then something that goes to somebody. It's also not that of a good thing. But, I mean, chances are pretty high that it is his email, but it's not entirely going to be the case. It's not 100% sure. The next thing. And yet, in too many cases, this is what businesses has been reduced to: the artful packaging of meaningless distinctions as true differentiation. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, and I do think that if you're having a company that is really truly doing something differently, that is different, that is doing something that's great, then you're gonna have customers, unless there's just no need for it. If it is some product that might be too early for the time, for the age, for the era, which has been the case in the past and is probably also going to be the case in the future as well, and also in the present. But I think if you, this is something that I really think about, and I'm really also kind of, well, I don't want to say sure about, but I would say it just makes sense. If you're having a good product, for the right people, and they really want to have this, and this is really something that they need, and really something that they would appreciate if they would have it, then they're going to buy it. Because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they if it is a good product? Why wouldn't they if it is actually a product that they need, really actually then need, or at least really truly want to have? It's not some bullshit, and it's not just something that you think they want to have, but it is indeed something that they want to have. I mean, for me, there's then no reason for not buying it, as just if I would be imagining being one of them. In-Out Burger, IKEA, JetBlue, what all of these brands have in common is that they have been able to cultivate the most elusive of all customer segments, folks willing to be missionaries for their brand. Yes, and as I said, if you're truly having some people that want to have your shit, that like your brand, they're also going to spread their word. And I do want to quickly talk about Kevin Kelly's 1,000 true fans or diehard fans, which is basically it's some sort of equation. Basically it's some sort of an explanation that you do not need to have 1 million followers. You do not need to have 1 million fans, but you only need 1,000 diehard fans. And what he is saying about diehard fans is that they are going to buy everything that you're going to produce. They're going to buy everything, whether it is the CD, then they're also going to buy just the deluxe box of your CD, they're going to buy your book, they're going to be on every single event that you are on or that you're hosting. They're going to be there. These are your diehard fans. And you only need 1,000 of them. Because if you do the math, then you're going to see that if you're just, for example, let's say you're producing products worth $100 each month, which is going to be, if you're just doing the math, 100, and I'm sorry that 100 times 1,000, which is 100,000. The problem is it doesn't necessarily have to be a month. You could do this in a year, which is 100, and I'm very sorry that this is switching in the background. 100 divided by 12 is $8.3. If you're able to get 1,000 people, to pay you $8.3 each month, you're going to have 100,000 in a year, which is totally enough. and it's only $8 a month. I mean, you could also be like, well, I'm going to have one product for the year, which is, which is going to be a little bit more expensive, which is going to be something, I don't know. And you don't need that many fans. But of course, if you're having those diehard fans, they're going to spread the message, They're going to spread the message to other circles, which is then going to be like the medium level fans, They're not going to be crazy about you, but they just buy some of your shit that they really need or that they're really interested in and all those things. But let's go on. Cereal is cereal, and this is something interesting, and I actually didn't think about it beforehand. Cereal is cereal because it happens to be food broken down into spoon-sized bits. If the pieces were any larger, we would have to call them cookies. A frappuccino is a frappuccino because it is sold at Starbucks and priced accordingly because it is Starbucks. And if it wasn't priced accordingly, we would, I think, somehow be suspicious. We would think well, is this really good coffee? And I would actually kind of argue that people would actually, that I think they would buy more of the more expensive stuff, even if there is some quite cheap ones, because I think that they think that it is about quality and that price is about quality, but it is not. It is totally marketing. Price is marketing. Because a product is expensive doesn't necessarily have to mean that it is a good product. Of course, the problem is if you're selling a shitty product for a high price, then you're not going to have a long customer lifetime value, or LVT. LTV, a high LTV, which is something that you want to have. Approaching, or is it accumulating or accusating? I think it's accusating. It's pronounced probably wrong, or accusating. Well, getting a new client or getting a new customer is, 10 times more expensive than retaining or just having an old one and just doing something with the quote-unquote old one. I mean, it makes sense. It just makes sense. Sold anywhere else, it would have to be considered a caffeinated milkshake. And this is some pretty skin-deep stuff. Well, yeah, it indeed is. A student of mine once remarked that anti-marketing might just be the antidote for folks wary of being marketed to in the traditional way. Could be. I don't know. It could be the case. If we only pay attention to things we can measure, we will only pay attention to the things that are easily measurable. And in the process, we will miss a lot because there's a lot of things that are not really easy to measure, like branding efforts, I would say. I think branding is, if you're just having some advertisement, then you're probably going to be able to see if this is somehow doing something to your sales or to your sales. If you're just having a new campaign and your sales spike, then of course, well, there might be a correlation or a causation. But on the other hand, if you're just advertising something, if you're advertising for your brand, if it is brand advertising, then it's not that easy to recognize that. It's not that easily recognizable. But if you're just neglecting to do brand advertising, then it is a fucking huge mistake. Because if it is only about selling, if it is only about just selling your products to people as hard as you possibly can and as much of them as you possibly can, or as many of them, I don't know if they're gonna like this. I don't know if this is good. I don't think it is good. Difference is deviance. I think it is deviance. Deviance, yeah, it is actually deviance, which means especially the factor state of diverging from usual or accepted standards. Well, difference is deviance. Difference is permutation. Difference is a commitment to the unprecedented, presented, which is another way of saying it is a commitment to letting go. If I had to make a prediction, I would say that the idea brands of tomorrow, is it actually ideal? I think it would be ideal brands of tomorrow will be the ones that embrace this, even as they take the sharp left down that unpaved road. These companies and these brands that seem to be different and not always the same. I think different has something to do with being something, being a certain thing for the right people. As I said before, people like us do things like this, and marketing everything to everyone is not going to work. You really have to market your shit, at least as far as I can I mean, think about it. At least it makes sense for me. Marketing to people that really want to have your product, marketing to people that are really your audience, just makes sense. But yeah, I think this is going to be the end of the article. I've actually been really, really able to not say a lot of ams and a lot of other just strange words, and I've really also been trying to not do them. First of all, I do not then have to cut them out because even though I'm rarely cutting them out, because it's like, I don't know if it is necessarily going to make the episode better. I mean, if I'm talking about some shit, but I'm talking about it in a good way, then it's not going to necessarily be good. Even if the medium is a fucking huge part, please look up, if you're just interested in mediums and what the medium can do, McLuhan, McLuhan. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, we are going to see you the next time, or I'm actually going to see you the next time, or we are going to see us the next time. Maybe this is what I'm searching for, probably, but I don't know. So I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, which basically means just being a nice person and then being remembered as a nice person, which is, I think, totally something that we all want to have. I believe that nobody is willing to be remembered as a bad person, and especially not as a really shitty person and an awful person. But yeah, 3 other questions that I'm having for you are, why are you here? So on this planet, what are you trying to change on this planet? And what is bothering you the most on this planet? But yeah, maybe you're even going to subscribe to the podcast. I would appreciate that. And I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So bye and thank you. Really, really, really indeed. Thank you a lot for being here and watching and listening to the episode. I'm going to see you.